a nonprofit board
I have in
leadership.
my office. You need another one, Lou? But I know, Andrew would get one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I just forgot to put it
Yeah,
on.
you weren't here either.
You weren't here.
I'm learning leadership. A nonprofit board
I
leadership.
have him.
All right, and we're live.
All right, we're back. Can I have a motion to accept the recommendations of staff to, is it amend chapter 78? How do we word
Calculations.
it? Amend chapter 78 calculations.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? None, please call the roll.
Mr. Wilmot.
Aye.
Mr. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
For 78?
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. All right, meeting minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the March 4th, 2026 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, does anyone have any comments, questions, deletions or additions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Wilmot.
Aye.
Mr. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Public comment, seeing no one from the public here, I'm going to close the public comment. Financial, presentation of the fiscal year 2027 water and sewer budget. Laura?
Yes, thank you.
Need a minute to set it up for. This way is. Now you can go right and.
Okay.
If you want.
Okay, all right, so here we are again, another year gone by. So this is the fiscal year 27 proposed operating budget, capital improvement.
Maybe make this smaller, that can be.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that from the?
So the proposed operating budget is a result of several weeks of analysis of every budgetary line item, as well as review with the executive director, and upon his approval, implementation of supervisory requests. The steps in preparing the operating budget also involve a collaboration with the executive director in salary research and preparation of a salary administration plan, which is presented and approved by the board personnel committee. An analysis is performed using the authority's financial model, which indicates if the proposed operating budget as well as annual debt service can be supported by our rate structure. The proposed operating budget and the financial model analysis is then presented to the board finance committee for their review and approval. What I'm presenting tonight is a result of all these processes. The proposed operating budget increase is 6.55%. The proposed capital budget continues to be a progressive plan to address the authority's infrastructure and technological needs. Major water projects will continue to be financed. However, smaller water projects can be funded through our capital reserves. Most sewer capital projects can be funded through our capital reserves. However, we are currently seeking financing for the Woodstream Headworks project through the New Jersey I-Bank. We implemented the last rate adjustment in 2025. We are in the process of analyzing rate readjustment options utilizing our financial model. The proposed water budget increase is 8.52%, while the proposed sewer budget increase is 5.45%. with an overall increase for both water and sewer of 6.55%. The three main drivers of the budget increase are health insurance, bulk water purchase, and vehicle lease. This is a table which lists the primary drivers of the budget increase. On the left side of the table are the two increase drivers which are beyond the authority's control. while the right side of the table shows a cost increase to which the authority can make adjustments. The two cost increases we cannot control are health insurance and bulk water rates. Thank you. Without these large increases, the overall budget increase would be roughly 2.5% rather than 6.55%. Those costs account for about 4% of the budget increase.
That's for both water
And health insurance.
and health insurance,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's about 4% of the budget increase. Other budget line item increases are reasonable and within expectations. Salaries, the projected cost of living adjustment is between 3.3% to 4.5%. Blanket insurance, the premiums increased 6% in fiscal year 26. In addition, the JIP is advised they will be performing property reevaluation. So in the budget, I did increase it in anticipation of increased premiums. Parts and supplies, there's a 15% increase on the water side, but only 4% in sewer. The large increase on the water side is due to specific supervisor requests and increased security fire alarm monitoring at various sites. And state fees, 5.5% for sewer. This expense is beyond our control. State fees continue to increase, particularly for the wastewater treatment components. The overall increase for the proposed water sewer budget is 6.82% or $1,173,400. The total increase for the proposed operating budget, including the township appropriation, is 6.55% or $1,188,400. The proposed operating budget total is $19,345,000. Are there any questions regarding the operating budget before I move on to the capital?
Pretty clear.
Thank you. The authority has a 10-year capital improvement plan for both water and sewer. This is a carefully constructed plan utilizing the authority's fixed asset planning software, GIS, as well as consultation with our professional engineers. The document details which year project is expected to commence, as well as the planned financing vehicle, whether it is bonding or use of the authority's capital reserves. The 10-year capital improvement plan is reviewed annually by our board's capital committee for approval prior to presentation to the entire board. We'll start with water improvements. For fiscal year 27, the budget totals $11,063,500. 5-year plan total is $41,148,500. 10-year plan, $77,562,500. For sewer improvements, fiscal year 27 total budget is $19,751,000. The 5-year plan, $30,594,055. The 10-year plan total is $41,017,305. The total 5-year capital improvement plan for water and sewer total is $71,742,555. The funding sources for the capital improvement plan for both water and sewer. For bonding, $32,829,000. The general fund, $25,776,555. And the renewal and replacement fund, $13,137,000. The total 10-year capital improvement plan for water and sewer is $118,579,805. We anticipate bonding for $59.6 million and using capital reserves in the amount of $58.9 million to fund the entire 10-year plan. proposed water capital projects for fiscal year 27. Under bonding. The South Side Water Tower, that's ongoing. The Kings Grant Drive water main replacement, a contract was recently awarded. Lincoln Drive water tank rehabilitation, that's under construction. The Cambridge Park water main replacement phase 1, that's new. Some general fund projects. The well 10-11 building upgrade, that's a carryover from the current fiscal year. The sodium hypochlorite generation system at Hopewell Booster Station, that contract award recommendation is actually on tonight's agenda. The sodium hypochlorite generation system at Kings Grand Booster, that's a new project. Upgrade SCADA system, that's new. Some renewal and replacement projects. Well 10 redevelopment, that's a carryover. Lead service line replacements, that's new. And the water meter replacement program, that's always ongoing. Some proposed sewer capital projects for fiscal year 27. Under bonding, replace the influent grit and debris removal system at Woodstream, that's in design. Some general fund projects. The Muselin Farm Forest Main relocation. The Woodstream Wave Tech system for nitrate removal, that's in construction. The Elmwood generator replacement, that's ready to go out to bid. Sonelli Farms lift station rehabilitation, that's under construction. The Pine Grove lift station rehabilitation, that's in design. The Lynx Golf Course lift station rehabilitation, that's new. The Sonelli Farms Forest Main rehabilitation, that's new. Under renewal and replacement, the golf course lift station updates in the wet well, that's new. The GVW tandem dump truck, that's new. The Quail Run lift station equipment replacement, that's new. So this is a list of projects which are either in progress or have been substantially completed within the current fiscal year. The project cost to date for substantially completed projects and for those still in progress are shown, and they total over $23 million. So these numbers come from our annual audit report. We use unrestricted net position to fund cash projects. And as you can see on the water side, the water net position has rebounded significantly in the past 5 years. And as a result, we are able to increase the number of water capital projects funded with cash rather than the expense of seeking financing. This is a result of the rate adjustment approved in 2021, in which we were able to increase water rates while lowering sewer rates, which resulted in zero increase to customers. This was possible due to a large debt service drop-off on the sewer side. In addition, we continue to adjust our rate structure regularly with manageable increases. Sewer net position has continued to be in a healthy position since the debt service drop-off in 2021. However, with rising operating costs as demonstrated in the proposed operating budget, as well as the authority's mission to maintain our infrastructure through regular capital improvement projects, regular adjustments to the rates will need to continue. However, the adjustments will be gradual to avoid any spike in customer rates, which would occur without our current approach of prudent and gradual increases. So, I always like to show some pictures of some of our projects so you can see how we're spending our capital reserves. This is the well 10 building and inside as it currently is, and this is in the fiscal year 27 budget for well redevelopment as well as a building upgrade. The Elmwood plant UV disinfection project, this is currently under construction. The picture to the right is the original effluent troughs and basin at Elmwood plant, and the picture on the, I'm sorry, that was a picture on the left. And then the picture on the right is the new disinfection method using the ultraviolet light. And these are some photos of the construction that's going on with the Elmwood plant UV disinfection as well as some of the new equipment.
Does the crane stay?
Yes.
Yes. Wow.
The Woodstream Plant Headworks Grip Removal Project, the picture on the left is the current headworks system at Woodstream Plant, and this will be replaced by a new headworks system, which is currently in design. And the picture on the right, where the blue arrow is, and there's a little, in blue with a blue border, that's where the new system will be placed, and it's directly to the right of the existing unit, which will be demolished. The Elmwood Plant Generator Project design is complete and ready to go out for bid. Old contract was awarded to refurbish the Lincoln Drive Water Tower, including a complete coating, removal and recoating of the tank, both internal and external, as well as several other upgrades and improvements. And the authority recently closed on financing through the New Jersey I-Bank Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. This is the Sinelli Farms lift station, and this project is currently underway. The picture to the right is a confined space, which we plan to eliminate with future lift station rehabilitations, bringing everything above ground. This is the Pine Grove lift station rehabilitation. This is currently in design. This is the golf course lift station. That's next in our continued capital improvement list for rehabilitations, and we continue to upgrade the controls and eliminate the confined space entry with each lift station rehabilitation. This is another picture of the current controls at the golf course lift station and the confined space entry. This is a new project for our capital budget this year. These are some pictures of the bar screen and grates in the golf course lift station wet well. The platform, ladder, and bar screen are starting to rot out, so they will be replaced this year, while design on a complete rehabilitation of the lift station is expected to commence. The Woodstream nitrate removal, the product, which will be incorporated into the contact stabilization tanks at Woodstream plant system, is called Wavetex. The system is expected to address future nitrate limits of 13 milligrams per liter daily maximum, and this project construction is currently underway. And these are a few construction photos from the Woodstream nitrates removal project. The Elmwood Storage Building was completed last year. These are some exterior pictures of the new building. And these are some interior pictures of the Elmwood Storage Building, and we are now able to house all parts and supplies in one central location. Okay, are there any questions regarding the capital improvement budget? Okay, so moving on to the financial position for supporting our operations as well as our capital improvement plans. The authority's financial position remains strong. Some older debt service issues have dropped off, with 2 more dropping off, one in fiscal year 28 and one in fiscal year 29. The authority has a strong net position to support capital projects for both water and sewer. However, significant cost increases, particularly with the New Jersey American Water bulk contract, and healthcare costs have continued, and they are reflected in the proposed operating budget. We also have a robust 10-year capital improvement plan, which will be funded through new debt service and capital funds. We just closed on a loan from the New Jersey I-Bank to finance the Lincoln Tower rehabilitation, so that will be a new debt service payment. The authority will have to acquire additional financing for future capital projects. So our rate structure. The authority's practice is to adjust rates as needed in prudent amounts to support operations, capital improvements, and debt service. The most recent increase in rates was implemented in 2025. We are monitoring the performance of the rates and our financial model to ensure our rate structure fully supports all operations, improvements, and additional debt service. So each year, I'd like to include the authority's mission statement in the budget presentation. I do believe that the authority's mission statement is a true working document and not just a statement on our website. The authority continues to support all of these operations with a fair, equitable rate structure, with the use of financial forecasting and prudent gradual adjustments to those rates as needed. This progressive approach to rate, service, and capital improvements allows the authority to remain fiscally sound while providing a high quality of customer service as detailed in our mission statement. And that concludes the budget presentation. So, are there any questions?
What was the amount spent in fiscal year 25 again? It was 24 million
Spent in fiscal year 25
capital.
for capital.
Yeah,
So what, I don't have 25, but what we completed in the current fiscal year 26 was a little over 23 million. That's what was completed and is in progress,
and is
what we expect to spend.
and that, what you expect to spend.
Yes.
What was the original budget for that year? Planned.
I would have to look that up. I
Okay.
don't have fiscal year 26 with me, but I can get that to you.
Yeah, I was just wondering what the percentage of the plan was actually, done. That's heroic. It's a lot of projects.
That's
Yeah.
sure is. Were there any other questions?
Well, it dovetails into what Laura said. I mean,
Yeah.
the mission statement, and we're following it.
Following the mission
We're-
statement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing it.
Someday I'm gonna memorize that mission statement.
Yes.
So, it's a mouthful.
We're doing all that, we're not increasing sewer or water rates this year, right? So in this budget.
Yes.
You're gonna see how it tracks.
Yes.
Is there any,
I won't be making any recommendations until we have time to fully analyze everything.
so you got a 6.5% increase, but is there any indication that a current rate structure supports collecting more dollars with any kind of growth or fees? Or is this gonna consume some cash to make up for the 6%?
No, we will support that. We won't use other cash. Our rates will support that.
Rates will support, it? Okay.
Yes.
But we'll evaluate that through the whole process. Right now, we're sitting steadfast.
Yeah,
Well, I just want to say thank you.
yeah.
All the hard work you've
That's-
done, the staff, you and staff
Yeah.
and to the finance committee. Thank you for the work you folks to put in.
It's a pretty, what they do is amazing. I think Mike, if you're still with us there.
I am.
Yeah, Mike came up during our discussion with, it says a percentage here. But when you look at and I was just showing Ed before the notes that I had here of, so much, it's like 83% is services, fringe, electricity, insurance, and the bulk water rates makes up 83%. So you're really just shaving around the edges to keep things down. And I think when Mike, you said something like that was really like a 2.8% increase when you take all these other things out
Yeah.
that you really can't control.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's kudos. I mean, these guys do a really good job in digging deep into the numbers and really giving a good presentation.
and
Yeah, I mean, and to lose, I'm sorry, to lose point in what we discussed, and I mean, and all the credit goes to Laura, Jeff, supervisors, everyone for what we do here. But if you look at these numbers, yeah, it's 6.5%, and we're all living with a lot of increase costs in our lives. But what we control is under 3%, and I would challenge any operating body to put forth a plan for the next fiscal year that has a cost under 3% increase.
Yeah.
It's a real challenging environment we're working in. I just think, and I made this comment when we met a couple days ago or last week. The budget reflects really a DALI commitment that Jeff and Laura and everyone makes, and looking at each one of the impacts to our budget. And I mean, as you know, when we have our meetings, there's a lot of due diligence in making sure that we're picking the right vendor, right company at the most reasonable cost to the ratepayer. And I think this budget reflects that. And I mean, no one wants to pay more if we don't have to, but I think this is a pretty good plan moving forward and incorporating the capital projects as well to keep our authority in where it is in terms of performance. So all the thanks goes to Laura and everyone else. But so sorry to ramble on that, but
And Jeff, you fought to have the bulk purchases reduced. What would it have been if you hadn't gone to the
Well,
Met?
they're going for 17% right now. We're still in the process of this new proposal is what we're fighting for now. What we're getting at now is a 17% increase from New Jersey American. I think it's 6% or so from Mount Laurel. There's a couple key drivers, and I can probably, as we already discussed, I did notes. To me, like the things that we really can't control, the salaries and wages are what they are. The vehicle lease, that's a steadfast number quote that we got from the vendor. We should see returns on that once we started migrating all the vehicles out. The electrical costs, electricity's been going up. Laura's put contingencies in there. She's kind of guessing to have what they'll go up, so she's put a buffer in there to kind of absorb that. Hopefully she's dead on. I think she probably will be, with probably some favorable ahead of the game. Chemicals, we got rid of some of the chemical line budgets, but they've been holding steady fast with Wayne and Elino's diligence, but we've taken some miscellaneous chemicals off of our budget and put them, it kind of kept it steady because we're not really using them. Sludge costs have went up from tipping fees and dumping fees to the county, 3%. The regulatory fees continue to go up. And the facility, our infrastructure is just aging out. We just had an issue today, actually yesterday, with Snelly Farms. We got down to want to do a tap on that existing force main, and it's in deplorable shape. So next meeting, we'll be asking for a significant change order to just put all new pipe in to the existing replaced pipe that was done in 2016. So that'll be new, and then we're going to try to redirect this in our capital Muslin farm, get out of his right away, and that'll be good for the next 40, 50 years without any headaches. But overall, the budget increase is driven by vehicle lease, like Laura said, healthcare, and the bulk order agreements, the things that we really can't control. I mean, the vehicle lease program we can control, but as we got into this, we know that the long game is the cost of savings of 600,000 plus. So we have to let that get to its fruition to see if it really works. If not, from day one, we can exit at any minute. We're not in a contract. We can exit at any time.
Again, thank you. I think this really is a wonderful budget. You guys, again, I mean, you always provide us, as long as I've been, and this is like my 16th or 17th year on this board, you've always had a great budget. We always appreciate the hard work that you and your staff put into this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the board for their support. It's a pleasure meeting with all the committees, very helpful.
All right, resolution 2026-56. I'm sorry. Resolution 2026-47, approval of FY 27 water and sewer budget. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Okay, anyone have any final questions on the budget? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Rowland. Aye. Mr. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. All right, resolution 26-48, payment of bills. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
All right, any questions on the bills? Okay, seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Wilmot. Aye. Mr. Dress.
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
I'm going to vote aye, except I'm going to abstain on purchase order number 26-01545 Florio Perucci, as I have an indirect conflict of interest. All right, resolution 2026-48, payment of bill, resolution 2026-49, refunds, credits, and cancellations. Can I have a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
All right, does anybody have any questions on this agenda item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Willmott? Mr. Drossy?
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Waters?
Aye. Resolution 2026-50, authorizing the authority to enter into a 5-year renewal shared service agreement with Evesham Township School District for the utilization of gasoline fueling station located at Elmwood Wastewater Treatment Facility. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Anyone have any questions on this agenda item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Willmott?
Aye.
Mr. Drossy?
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Waters?
Aye. Resolution 2026-51, award of contracts in excess of $53,000 to $53,000 to AC Schultes Incorporated, in the amount of $286,000 for Hopewell Booster Station refurbishment of the on-site sodium hypochlorite generation system. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
So what,
Jim, do you have this?
Yes, this is the generation station out at Hopewell. It's around 12 years old. Parts are, aging out, trying to get the parts, so come up with a modern system that, should get us another 10-15 years.
that's all they last?
Yeah, it's pretty beat up. It generates heat and stuff, so the
Mm.
salt, the erosion, the hypo, it generates.
Okay.
Yeah, between salt, air, and chlorine.
You're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting eaten alive.
Exactly.
All right, does anybody have any questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Willmott? Mr. Drossy?
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Waters?
Aye. Resolution 2026-54, award of contract under extraordinary unspecifiable service to Connor Strong and Buffalo for the 2026 employee health insurance broker. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Laura, do you have anything on?
Yes, we received 2 proposals in response to our RFP, and Connor Strong had the strongest proposal. They are also the incumbent. They will receive the compensation through commission from the carrier.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Laura? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Willmott? Mr. Drossy?
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Waters?
Aye. Resolution 2026-55, authorizing appropriation to Township of Evesham not to exceed 5% of the authority's annual operating budget for FY 27. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Laura?
The township made their annual request, by letter. So this resolution is authorizing 5% of the budget for this year.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Laura?
Looks like it's only 15,000 more combined,
Yes.
but like 1.5%. That's
That's the max you can do, 5?
5%.
By law.
By law.
God.
By law, you can't.
What was the number over 15 years? 12 million?
It keeps from diluting that, and the lines for rates between having a separate MUA dedicated rates and then being able to just say, well, I want 25% this year.
Any other questions for Laura? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Willmott? Mr. Drossy?
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis?
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt?
Aye.
Mr. Waters?
Aye. Executive Director's Report, Jeff?
All right, thank you. Since our last board meeting, we had one water main break that was on Clinton Lane, Willow Bridge section of town, and the guys here at the MUA repaired that. We had 3 discolored water complaints, just around the time with hydrant flushing and everything that was going on then. Our techs went out there and everything was in satisfactory range, and the customers were satisfied. We did not have any odor in the water complaints. And we have had no violations in the last month. However, we have to make a tier 3 notification. It'll be a little blurb on our consumer confidence report concerning 8 well. It's called a tier 3 notification. We were unable to test for PFAS and PFAS related chemicals. because the well was down and out of service, as you know, we're re-drilling, so that's just a public notification, so technically they call that, you know, a not a violation, but we have to notify that that well was not tested, and the only reason it's not tested because we couldn't. So once it's
not
back
in
up, running,
operation,
be
right.
confident, like 6 well will be in the clear.
Because it's not in operation, correct? So-
Correct.
So no one's getting water out of it. So-
That's correct.
All right,
We completed our spring hydrant flushing. We flushed about 25,558,197 gallons of water through our distribution system. A total of 1,663 hydrants were operated, flushed, and inspected. We currently have a total of 6 hydrants out of service. 3 of them belong to the MUA and 3 of them are private. Concerning the private ones, the fire department will draft a letter and send it to them private owners, ensuring that repairs will be made. Last week, we had our employee appreciation luncheon for all the work that our employees did with the snow removal, clearing within our own organization, as well as assisting the town. They were very appreciative to the board, recognizing they did a good job, so they want to thank you guys for that. And I would like to thank Jimmy personally, that he does all the cooking for all that stuff, and everybody seems to really enjoy it. So thank you, Jimmy. The rehab and painting of Lincoln Drive, that has finally started. Our cell carriers in the process of moving their antennas. Once the completion of the antennas are removed and moved on to the new carrier or on the corral, you'll see crews start to assemble scaffolding, put a curtain up, and start sandblasting interior and exterior. If everything goes smoothly, we should be back in service in July. With the beginning of spring, crews are sprucing up all of our sites, so if any folks or anyone in the public has any ideas for beautification, we'll gladly entertain them. All suggestions are welcome. Just this afternoon, Jim had a kickoff meeting with our roof contractor for all of our buildings at the Elmwood facility. And they're looking to begin April 13th, weather permitting. They have all the materials on site. We just have to do some stages. And Jim had a pre-con meeting for that today. As a reminder, AEA's Spring One-Day Conference is being held April 23rd. I have room for 3 if you wish to drive with me. But we'll continue to send that out before we're due to
I will
go.
meet you there.
Probably leave here from Sharp Road. That's all I have.
Okay.
Do we, are you still making a presentation tomorrow with the council?
The township manager had asked me to forego it to May.
Okay.
Because I think that they have their budget presented tomorrow as well. That's all for my report, but there's a resolution.
Okay.
Resolution 2026-58, approval of change order number 1 in the amount of 69,051-81 to Capola Services Incorporated for the Woodstream wastewater treatment plant contract stabilization tank. Now have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
What's a contact stabilization tank?
So this is for the wave tech system that's being installed at Woodstream.
Okay.
The engineer originally thought that they could use the valves on the existing Biafor filtration system that we have. They're air actuated, and the idea behind it was, once we got the nitrate removal system up and running, we were going to take the Biafors out of service, and essentially they'll be deemed useless from there on. But dealing with a lot of stuff we see coming in the future with the state, I think they're going to do stream standards, which will be phosphates. If the state introduced or puts a phosphate level on us, we will then have to add another treatment process. So we came up with the idea, we can keep them filters there. If we do need them for phosphates in the future, we can convert that to a sand filter, rather than now try to find another footprint of area or land to build the filtration system. So we're going to put valves in. This change order puts these valves in that will isolate that system, but if we ever need it, we can go back to it.
So you might cut off that system and add a sand?
Cutting off that system, essentially the contract says to cut it off, but we want to leave it because I see phosphate limits coming our way for stream standards.
So the wave tech system can remove nitrates, but not phosphorus.
Correct.
And if you have to do phosphorus, you would reroute it
We would just reroute to go into the filters as they are now.
and not use the wave tech system.
No, we'll use away both systems.
Okay.
So we'll have a nitrate limit and a phosphate limit.
I see,
But
okay.
now we won't have to add another treatment process downstream or in line somewhere. One, we don't have the footprint.
Yeah.
Two, the cost for all new. We would have to do some retro and redesigning for the interior, but it would be a significantly lower cost. So
So
also
they're,
change what's there to a Sandville.
they're in series then,
Correct.
okay. Cool.
So these were 16-inch valves and be quite honest, 69,000 isn't too much money for a valve insertion.
Any other questions for Joe? Everyone, this is resolution. Please call the roll.
Mr. Wilmot.
Aye.
Mr. Kraus.
Aye,
Mr. Campus.
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Anything else, Jeff? Or you good?
No, that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, any last questions for Jeff? No? Okay, engineers report.
Yes, Southside Water Tank, as we discussed last week or last month, the township is coordinating the purchase of that land from the Samos organization to be conserved as part of the Black Run Preserve. We will be meeting with the Pinelands Commission later this month to discuss sectioning off a piece of that property for the MUA to use for the water tower and get their pre-approval of our application to use that land. So that's moving forward a little bit.
You had to have an estimated time frame. If everything goes, they approve it, how long do you think it would take to?
If they approve it and if the authority wants to proceed with it right away, I would say you're looking at 2 years or so.
And there's no rush for us. It's really just procuring that land. That just saves the authority, 10 years, 5 years, or 30 years from trying to acquire the land and go through the whole process. This will be a one-time process. Whether we utilize it, great. If we don't, it's there to be utilized.
Once the land is preserved, you will not be able to build a water tank on that property. So now's the time to do it.
oh.
Yeah.
And preservation is eminent.
Yes, there, I think there's about 400 acres that are being purchased. And they will be part of the Black Run Preserve. It's at the headwaters of the Black Run. It's a very environmentally sensitive area. The Pinelands has wanted that to be preserved for a long time. And finally, the Samos organization has agreed to sell it off.
How much of the land are we buying, like an acre or two?
An acre and a half.
Acre and a half?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, Route 70 water main, we have the as-built, but we're still waiting for a little bit of restoration of the side of the road by the contractor. Nothing new on the sewer main on Route 70. Jeff and I can work on that. Well 6 redrill, that's in maintenance bond. I think that can come off the agenda. As Jeff mentioned, the Elmwood UV disinfection's ongoing. We're looking at startup the 3rd week of this month. If the contractor or the manufacturer lives up to the schedule they presented today, April 22nd is the day it gets turned on and put into operation.
Okay, resolution 2026-53, approval of change order number 6 in the amount of $29,727.25 to Clyde N. Latimer and Sons Construction Incorporated for Elmwood UV disinfection. Have a motion.
So moved. Second.
This change order is for a 30-inch slide gate to be placed just after the influent chamber to the disinfection tank. Currently, the disinfection tank is serpentine in nature, with the flow being directed from that influent chamber to 2 different sides and snaking around to finally go out the center channel. Only the center channel is going to be used. It wouldn't hurt necessarily, it wouldn't hurt the process, put it that way, to let the water just flow through those outer channels. The operators looked at it and said, well, we'd really like to keep the water out of there so we don't have to clean it out every once in a while, and algae may grow or whatever. So the contractor was asked to provide a price for putting this slide gate at the front end or the back end of that influent channel, so the water can flow directly through to the center channel, and the side channels can be kept dry, and it won't be a maintenance issue in the future.
Anybody have any questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Wilmot,
Aye.
Mr. Dross,
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye.
Both the Heritage Village and the Cardinal Court water mains are on maintenance bond, so they can come off. Sinelli Farm Lift Station, as Jeff said, construction's underway. They ran into a surprise, almost the first step of the process, but we'll get a price on installing the about 300 feet of ductile iron pipe. As I've said internally, I'm glad we found it at the beginning of the job and not when we turned on the new pumps, because this pipe was in pretty bad shape out there. The Elmwood wastewater treatment plant generator replacement, that design is complete.
Resolution 2026-57, authorized advertisement for Elmwood wastewater treatment plant generator replacement. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Anybody have any questions for Wayne? Okay, now please call the roll.
Mr. Wilmot,
Aye.
Mr. Dross.
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye.
Kings Grant Drive water main replacement, we'll be having a pre-construction meeting next week. We are inviting the homeowners association president, who had been at our meeting months ago, to keep him on track with what we're doing, and also the township's engineer, so they can coordinate the paving of the other side of the road later this year. Well, number 5 redevelopment, that contract is done. We have a final change order.
Resolution 2026-52, approval of change order number 2 in the credit amount of $12,500 to AC Schultes Incorporated for well number 5 development. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
This basically stems from the way we bid redevelopment work. There's some items that may or may not be needed. We had $12,000 worth of items that were not needed.
Anybody have any questions for Wayne? Can I please call the roll?
Mr. Wilmot,
Aye.
Mr. Dross.
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye.
Pine Grove Pump Station rehab, where we have submitted for the treatment works approval permit, and we're waiting for comments or approval back from the DEP. And we have a proposal for a new contract.
Okay, motion to approve a proposal from Richard A. Alimo Associates in the amount of $808,940 for the survey design, New Jersey I-Bank application, bidding, construction observation, and administration for Cambridge Park water main replacement. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Okay.
And this is for the replacement of over 10,000 feet of water main in the Cambridge Park development, and paving from curb to curb when the contract was done.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Wayne?
I pointed out to Wayne before the meeting that it doesn't change the bottom line number, but the tab had some errors in the hours in his.
Yeah, my spreadsheet had a glitch. I didn't pick it up. So,
You said 10,000 feet of pavement?
10,000 feet of pipe, and the streets above that pipe will be paved curb
Oh, I
to
see.
curb. Yes.
Any other questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Wilmot,
Aye.
Mr. Dross.
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Motion to approve S3W3 for Sweet House 300 Route 73 South, Suite 195 in the Marlton Square Shopping Center. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
It's actually Sweat House.
Mhm.
It's sauna
sweat
and
house.
cold
Oh, I'm
plunge. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's a different,
Yeah, right.
different use than what I,
Not another donut shop.
I thought it was a bakery.
For a second, bring it back, welcome back Cotter and the Sweat Hogs.
Yeah.
Sweat house.
Yes,
Okay,
bringing Scandinavia tomorrow.
Hmm.
okay, does anybody have any questions for Wayne? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Roma.
Aye.
Mr. Drossy.
Aye.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. All right, any final questions for the engineer? And none? General counsel's report.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Sophia. Public comments, and no one from the public, I'm gonna close public comment. Board comments. Andrew, you wanna start us off?
Yeah, just thanks again for the budget. Great work, everybody. Finance committee. I know it takes a lot, so congratulations. It's done. It's done now, right? After tonight.
Yeah.
The most adoption. That's all I had.
Okay. Byron?
I just wanted to say something about Piccolimo. He started that whole business by, from scratch. And if he ran it the same way you've been taking care of us and all these other communities with an untold number of projects, he's done well. But then I read his obituary, and he had affected boards and community organizations, so many in his lifetime, that when I went there to pay my respects, I had to wait for 2 hours to get through to the family. And everybody, no one left. Everyone was there. And what was remarkable was the different facets of his life, because very few people knew other people. I saw you,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know all the employees came earlier
Yeah, we did.
because it was long. And many people said the same thing, that they only knew a few other people out of, I don't know how many dozens or hundreds of people that went through there. It was a life well lived, and I'm glad you had a moment of silence. It's a very important part of everybody's communities. And so on another note, Laura, thanks for the budget it's just phenomenal. A lot of work goes into it every year to keep it up, and I don't know, you have the nice formula for making sure we can pay rates. I'm gonna be at the AEA April 23rd. I'm also gonna be at the NJWEA in May. And are you gonna be there? Do you ever go?
I don't usually go.
Don't usually go?
I'll be there.
You'll be there?
Yeah.
Okay. And I've joined a water equipment company for my full-time profession, Fibercast. So that membrane bioreactor company. So I'll be immersed even further in water treatment.
Is talking about Dick Alimo, at one time Dick had told me that he designed the Gibson House.
Did he?
Right? That's what he told me, right? Am I correct? Huh?
The Gibson House?
Yeah.
By
Right
the
there at
golf course
Yeah, I know the Gibson House, but may have been one of our projects, but
Yeah, he told me he would.
I'm sure he's right.
Yeah.
He's always right.
I learned to say that a long time ago. Yes.
Better late than never.
He put me in the sewers, so I might not know about the
How long you guys
architectural
have
project.
been here?
What's that?
As the engineer, I mean, it's.
We have been the engineer here since the 1980s. Well, I've been engineer for 37 years, or 35 or 36, yeah. So 1989, 1990, that's when I began representing the company here. But we had been, it's got to be the early 70s that we started.
Yeah.
So 50 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Done?
Yes.
Okay. Mike?
Byron, thank you for what you said about Dick. When I got into politics a long time ago, Dick was probably the first professional person that reached out to me. And yeah, I mean, Byron, you couldn't have said it any better. What a contribution to so many municipalities in the state, but just a good and decent man. I offer my condolences, Wayne, to you and the Alamo family and your colleagues, and he will definitely be missed. Thank you to Laura and the finance committee, Lou and Jeff and everyone for the fine work, and also to the commissioners and to the employees. And I'll see you guys next month. Thanks.
Lou?
Yeah, I'll second all of that. I don't know which is harder, going through the audit or preparing a budget, but they're both right up
Equally
there, I'm
tough,
sure. I echo what Mike said, everybody else said, a really nice package, a great presentation to the capital committee as well, and their contributions, and keep up the good work. I'm sure this intervening time between the frigid cold of winter and before the burning hot summer gets, maybe our employees can enjoy working outside for a bit at a time. So thank you for their efforts as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jeff. Again, thank you, Laura. Appreciate your and your staff's hard work on this budget, and always a good job. Jeff, thank you, and Jim, thank you guys for all your hard work. Thank you for putting together the employee appreciation lunch. Really glad that we wanted to show the staff that we did appreciate a lot of, they had a hard winter, and they stepped up, and they really, did a great job, and I'm glad we were able to show them some appreciation. Again, thank you to all of our staff and management, our employees, all of the employee supervisors, and everybody down, our professional staff. We appreciate everything you folks do. And so our next meeting will be Wednesday, May 6th, right here, 100 Sharp Road at 7 o'clock. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call? All right, no, everybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Sorry.
I don't want to end the meeting.